30 meters beneath the Egyptian desert, archaeologists are meticulously dismantling an ancient stone wall. They are searching for a secret chamber that has remained buried for 2,500 years. In Saqqara, Egypt, under the shadow of the world's oldest pyramid, renowned Egyptologist Dr. Ramadan Hussein and his archaeological team are investigating a new site. In ancient Egypt, everyone, rich or poor, was mummified and buried deep underground. What makes this site so unique is that it represents an unprecedented discovery in Egyptian archaeology. This is no ordinary site. It is a complex carved directly into the solid limestone bedrock. At a depth of about 30 meters, Dr. Hussein realized he had found an embalming workshop. This was a pantry where ancient Egyptian embalmers stored the specific tools and supplies used in the mummification process. The team utilized the latest laser scanning technology to obtain a complete 3D picture of the entire site, taking their research to a new level. By splicing together dozens of high-resolution scans, scientists rebuilt the entire burial complex digitally, mapping the shafts and channels that extend deep underground. The scans revealed a network of tunnels leading to a series of tombs that have remained untouched for millennia. Judging by the pottery patterns found in the shafts, these burial chambers date back to approximately 600 BC. To reach the tombs, the team had to work from shaft K24, removing over 450 tons of sand. At the bottom of K24 lies a corridor connected to 5 adjacent burial chambers, 2 to the west, 2 to the north, and 1 to the east. Within these tombs, Ramadan and his team unearthed incredible treasures, including the first silver mummy mask discovered in Egypt in nearly a century, an exceptionally rare find. They also found dozens of canopic jars, which contained traces of the oils used during mummification. Ramadan suspected this burial complex held even more secrets. While there were chambers to the west, the east side was blocked by a wall. Knowing that Egyptians favored symmetry and balance, the team estimated that another chamber lay behind it. They decided to chisel through the rock to see what was hidden. Peering through, they saw something dark, the remains of a mummy. It was an encouraging start, despite concerns that some of the rock was cracking under the immense load of the earth above. After weighing the risks, they decided to press on. For Ramadan, discovering these tombs was just the beginning. It provided the perfect opportunity to learn more about mysterious ancient practices. This massive burial chamber contained many wooden coffins and canopic jars, the vessels used to store internal organs so the deceased could live forever in the afterlife. On one of these objects, Ramadan found a name, Didybast. This name was significant because across the hall, a stone stela for a priest named Tianemet bore an inscription listing his titles and his mother's name, Didybast. This confirmed they had found a family burial where a mother and son were interred together, a find that is quite rare in archaeology. Because the tomb had been sealed in 2,500 years of heat and humidity, the contents were extremely fragile. To preserve the data, the team used photogrammetry to create digital 3D models, stitching together hundreds of overlapping photos to document every detail. Historical records suggest that Egyptian embalmers took up to 70 days to complete a mummy, yet we know very little about exactly where these mummies were prepared. North of shaft K24, the team found evidence indicating that this underground chamber was the actual workspace for the mummification process. To validate these findings, Ramadan invited mummification expert Dr. Stephen Buckley. If Ramadan's theory is correct, this would be the first evidence proving that mummification took place underground. Compared to the blistering sun above, the chamber is much cooler with a unique airflow. The corridors brought in fresh air, keeping it moving, a vital requirement for successful mummification, as bodies decompose rapidly in stagnant heat. The team also found evidence of incense burners used to mask odors and ward off insects, making this the perfect environment for the task. The walls, hewn into the bedrock, featured a small drainage canal. Research suggests a major step in mummification involved removing the internal organs to prevent the body from rotting from the inside out. In this workshop, blood and fluids would have been carried away by these canals. To dig deeper into the story of the priestess Didybast, the team carefully investigated her hidden chamber. Her burial was separated from the other chambers by low stone walls and positioned higher than anything else in the tomb. This intentional positioning highlighted her social status. There was an even bigger surprise among Didybast's funerary items. Ancient Egyptian custom dictated that a person be buried with 4 canopic jars for their organs. However, the 3D models showed 2 extra jars placed on either side of Didybast's mummy. These 2 extra jars were taken under armed guard to the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. Using the museum's CT scanner, Ramadan hoped to uncover the jar's secrets. The scans showed that the jars were filled with gray substance that appeared to be human tissue. These 2 extra jars likely contained Didybast's brain and kidneys, organs that were almost never preserved or placed in jars in ancient Egypt. Ramadan theorized that Didybast may have upgraded her mummification package. Her brain and kidneys were embalmed and placed in extra vessels, suggesting that the mummification industry was not just about rigid tradition, but also about meeting the specific, customized needs of wealthy clients. The discovery of Didybast's tomb has helped rewrite the history of mummification. This unique site and everything within it have only just begun to reveal their secrets.